All right, so what's up? What's going on? Welcome to JA News. So we had some interesting activity going on via the Nike sneakers app today via the sneakers Jordan Reserve. So this includes some restocks of some popular Jordan retro models that actually dropped towards the end of last year. And we also had a marquee release from Adidas. So this was the successful follow-up to one of last year's most popular debut models. And you already know the Jordan 4 bred reimagined madness continues. Stay tuned for a very interesting update. All right, so I appreciate y'all. Salute to everybody for tuning in. If you enjoy the content and you're rocking with JA News, please help support the channel by dropping a thumbs up down below. Now to kick things off, we're gonna start with the Nike sneakers app, which we actually had some interesting activity go down today. So of course, it wasn't the Jordan 4 bred reimagined shock drop that literally everybody can't wait for, but we actually had a sneakers Jordan Reserve, which included some restocks of some popular Jordan retro models that we saw released towards the end of last year. So we had the Jordan 11 Gratitudes, the annual holiday Jordan 11 big release. We also had the Jordan 12 Cherries, a good classic OG that we haven't seen come back in quite some time. And then of course you have the Neapolitan women's exclusive 11 release. So as far as stock numbers goes, it seems like you had the best chance to get those Gratitude 11s followed up by the Cherry 12s. And then it looked like the Neapolitan 11s were the most rare restock that we saw drop today. Now I know what everybody's gonna say, but JA, those are bricks, and we already know they're bricks, but everybody's not a reseller out here, and some people actually missed out upon the initial release, so this was a great chance for people to grab these joints for retail. But at the end of the day, we know that most of these pairs were probably joints that were returned or pairs that Nike actually pulled from the initial release. And as far as these Jordan 4 bred reimagined, the madness continues. This sneaker is the one that like everybody literally can't stop talking about. So I got an interesting update in regards to the shock drop, which yesterday I put a stamp on my prediction for the shock drop date. So I said February 1st, none of that is concrete, none of that's official. I'm not claiming that I got any like inside sources or anything like that. That was strictly just a prediction based on previous Jordan retro reimagined releases. And shortly after I uploaded my videos, or should I say several hours, a lot of you guys hit me up saying that they saw some other sneaker YouTubers putting a claim on the same date that I officially stamped, and they were claiming that they said it first. Now, I feel like, you know, these guys probably, there's no way that they could watch my content, and it's probably all just a coincidence, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, could it be that JA is your favorite sneaker YouTuber's favorite YouTuber? But I'm just playing, y'all. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter exactly when the shock drop date will go down, because we all know Nike will notify us in advance. But I did find something very interesting via the sneakers app. If you scroll down a little bit on the main feed, it does actually look like coming up January 31st, they will be hosting a sneakers live event. Now, this is actually gonna be a Lil Yachty showcase where he's gonna be taking a look at some of your guys' kicks. He's gonna be showcasing some pairs from his personal collection, as well as showcasing his upcoming Concrete Boys Air Force One. But if you follow Nike, in the past, they actually have done shock drops after a Nike sneakers live event. So who knows? Again, this is just a day before my prediction for the shock drop. So I feel like it could go down anytime around then, but at the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier, it really doesn't matter, because of course Nike will notify us in advance. All right, so switching gears over to Adidas, I found this to be really cool. So sitting front row at the Chanel fashion show for Paris Fashion Week, Kendrick Lamar was spotted rocking a pair of Adidas Crazy 8s. Now, as we know, Adidas Kobe models aren't as popular per se as the Nike pairs are, but I found this to be really cool. I felt it to be like organic. I don't think Kendrick has any type of brand affiliations with the three stripes, and I believe the last sneaker collab he did was actually with Nike. So just when we thought Kendrick was putting on for all the regular people that just like to rock non-hype GR releases, upon doing my research, apparently this wasn't just your everyday pair of Crazy 8s. This was actually an NBA All-Star edition, which originally released all the way back in '98, making these joints priceless. But let me ask everybody watching, with Kendrick spotted rocking the Crazy 8s, do you feel like this will put some fresh eyes on this underrated classic Adidas model? And speaking of Adidas, today they did have a marquee release, which was the follow-up release to one of their most popular debut models from last year. So of course, I'm talking about the Adidas AE1 New Wave. Now, I've told you guys countless amount of times how much I enjoy the OG AE1 colorway, which you guys see in the back. I rock them joints every Sunday when I go out to shoot a couple of hoops or whatever. So these joints were a quick sellout today. So they did drop 10 a.m. this morning. I went over to the Adidas app. Joints were already sold out instantly. So I could imagine that they must have like dropped early or something like that. They did drop on foot sites as well. But by the time I jumped on there, them joints were gone. So we had like a sellout in about 5 minutes. So another successful drop from Adidas. I'm not sure if they're dropping these in limited quantities, because just like the OG colorway, these joints sold out super fast today. So salute to everybody. Let me know if any of you guys went for these and if you copped them today. I love the fact that they're coming in at just a great affordable price of 120 bucks. And it looks like Adidas, on top of this release, they have revealed some additional colorways as well as the release date. So we got the best of Adi pair, which is that Stormtrooper colorway that I've talked about a few times here on the channel. Them joints are scheduled to actually drop coming up March 1st, and then they're gonna quickly follow them up with the Velocity Blue colorway. Them joints are a little loud, kind of interesting pair, but definitely a pass for me. You can expect those to be releasing coming up March 8th. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they up the stock numbers, because I have a theory that the first two initial colorways, which sold out super fast, were extremely limited. So I would hope, that they'll up the stock numbers for future upcoming releases, because this is a great everyday basketball sneaker that you can rock on and off the court. And I'm definitely rocking with the AE1. So again, let me know if any of you guys went for these joints today. All right, and lastly, before we get up out of here, we got an interesting rumor that has surfaced now. Previously, earlier, we talked about Kobe, and it looks like, according to Master Chef Ian over on Twitter via private selection, he's saying that we should expect an SB Kobe Nike collaboration to be releasing coming up sometime this year. Now, this is major. The first thing that I immediately thought about were, of course, the Pine Green SB4s. Those were one of the last year's most popular releases. So one could only think, we have no official confirmation yet from Nike, so one could only assume what we're gonna actually get from this release. Is it gonna be a mashup of the two entities? Are we gonna get an SB with some Kobe design elements? Are we gonna get a Kobe sneaker with some SB branding? One could only tell. We'll have to wait and see what the future holds. But interestingly enough, it looks like sometime back in 2011, skater Eric Costin, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, he apparently is a fan of Kobe Bryant, and they actually put a Kobe SB dunk out, which was just for charity. So one could only imagine maybe it's going to be a retro of that release, or possibly they'll use some design elements from that sneaker. But just based off the SB hype as well as the Kobe hype, one could only imagine that this is going to be one of the most popular sneaker releases of the year. So stay tuned for more details on that. We're going to wrap things up right here. Salute to everybody for tuning in. Make sure you guys drop your feedback on all the topics covered here in today's video. And if you haven't done so, please help support the channel by dropping a thumbs up. So I'm going to wrap it up right here, y'all. I'm JA. Make sure you guys stay safe, stay blessed, and I'm out. Love.